Hey guys, the Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy. Welcome back to some more videos, and today I wanted to do a random video, just something totally out there and not planned. Me rambling about just a random topic, and mainly because I find myself always having conversations about this movie, whether in real life with friends, people who have seen this movie, or during YouTube live streams. I've talked with people on live streams about it. I've talked to people on, in the comments section about it. And it's really cool hearing different opinions on a film because it makes it interesting and it makes hearing people's thoughts just, I get intrigued by it. And I like to listen to the reasons, and, I'm always accepting and open to hearing thoughts on a movie. No matter what they are, no matter if you hate a movie, you love a movie, think it's okay. I think it's always cool to see debate, and it's always cool to see conversation about it, and it's always cool to see different opinions. But the Child's Play remake from 2019, this is a film that I covered in a review. The review isn't the greatest. I will warn you guys about that. If you do ever see my review, it's a review that the audio had glitched on, so if you go back and watch that review, it's not the greatest audio, so I apologize for that. Also, just ahead of time, I do not know how long this video will be. This is going to be a rambling video, so if you don't want to hear rambling, then I apologize, but this is going to be me just blabbering off the mouth and just talking about random stuff with this movie, because, like I said before, I always find myself talking about this movie and discussing with people, and I never realized just how pulverizing this film was when it came out. I did a review on it, loved it, still love it to this day. Hopefully one day to get it on Blu-ray, and I don't buy Blu-ray for just any old movie. I buy DVD for most movies, because sometimes I'll buy a Blu-ray and I'm like, this movie doesn't deserve to have a Blu-ray. Like, I'm not really watching it that much, but yeah, I have it on Blu-ray. So I tend to get DVDs most of the time, just to kind of test out if the movie's worth the Blu-ray. Then later on, I will upgrade to a Blu-ray. But in this case, I didn't see it on DVD. I want to get it on Blu-ray badly. So hopefully one day I can pick it up. But yeah, I don't usually pick up movies on Blu-ray often. And if I do, it's a movie that deserved it for me. Especially nowadays. Nowadays, I'm trying to cut back on my collection because I cleaned it out because there was movies in there that I never watched past one time. And like, if I'm never gonna watch them, then why do I have them? So I cleaned out my collection. Not all of it. There's still a lot of movies, but the ones that I either hate and will never watch again, or films that I'm just not into and I never watch again, I kind of cleaned it all out. But I'm getting off topic. I never realized just how there are varying opinions of this film, and just how it's so one way or the other. And first and foremost, I want to say this is just my opinion. My opinion means nothing. It means zero, nada. Doesn't mean shit. There's 1,000 opinions on YouTube. There's thousands of opinions on this movie, and my opinion is just little old me, just my thoughts on it. But when I reviewed this movie, there was in the comments people that love this movie and hate this movie. And when I first seen it, like I said, it blew me away. It's a pulverizing movie to me. It was just such a good remake, and I'll get into reasons why I love this movie so much in a second. But when I heard about that and I look at the rating, a 5.8 is relatively low for this remake, at least for me. And I know they're trying to make a sequel right now. Apparently there's a sequel being talked about. I don't know if it's being filmed right now because of everything going on, but apparently a sequel is at least in talks right now. Which is interesting because there's a Chucky TV show going on right now. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how that stuff plays out. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. But personally, I want to see more sequels. I want to see this series go on. I want to see this universe go on. I want to see what you can do more with this crazy evil AI idea. That I think the possibilities are limitless. This idea, combined with Cult of Chucky's idea, as far as there being multiple Chuckies, to me, that works so much better in this movie than in Cult of Chucky. And, you know, I feel like it just makes more sense in this movie. Now, I get it, this is a movie about a killer doll, but in Cult of Chucky, the idea of Chucky taking his soul, pretty much taking his soul and breaking it in little pieces and putting it in different dolls. First of all, how do you do that? Second of all, why didn't he do that in previous movies? And people go, well, you're not supposed to think about that. It's just a slasher film. It's there. It's a blatant, obvious thing. If that's the case, if he can do that, why didn't he do that in other movies? That's my question. That's my only question with that. It's like, why didn't he do it to other movies? And the idea to me just seemed like it was that, there's that line with the whole voodoo idea. Just like AI. If you have an AI idea taken too far, like you have, I don't know, I can't really think of it. Kind of the ending where the AI has taken over pretty much everything in the store. I like it, but then part of me is like, well, this is a Chucky movie, and like Chucky, it makes it to where Chucky is now just another part of this giant web of this evil AI. Whereas Chucky, in the original movies, it was Chucky. He was possessed. He was the center of the focus. In this movie's idea, you could take the AI and not even have Chucky in it. As a matter of fact, I think the original concept of this movie wasn't even to have Chucky in this movie. It was supposed to be a completely different film with no Chucky. I won't lie, I would have been curious, because I feel like the fans probably wouldn't have been so, you know, hectic with it and been so, you know, I won't say every single fan was so mad about it, but, you know, because there are some fans that love it, me included, but I think the fans wouldn't be so angry at this movie, or at least not just so, I can't find the word, I guess disinterested with it, and just, and I can kind of understand what they mean, because you look at films like Leatherface, and it's the same problems I have with that movie. And I can understand the problems of this, but I can understand it, you know. At least with this movie, I can understand why people would hate it, because it's a movie where the concept is so good on its own, you didn't need to call it Child's Play. I understand that. I really do. But for me, what makes this movie work and makes Leatherface not work is that Leatherface could have been a very cool origin story, seeing Leatherface as a kid, born with this face deformity, you know, dealing with it, being made fun of, him growing up into the killer and going through different things, and, you know, they could have done so much more with that story. That story felt like it was another script. They said, hey, here's a script, we'll just put Leatherface here and there, and Leatherface. It's literally what that is. It's a Hellraiser treatment. You take a script and you put Pinhead here, here, here. It's a Hellraiser movie. It's the exact same thing with that movie. And it doesn't fit because it's barely an origin story. And that's not coming out of my nose. Excuse me for that. But it is barely an origin story. Just by a hair. Because Leatherface in that movie gets what? One kill at the very end? And the way that whole thing plays out to me was ridiculous. I just did not understand why they went that route with that film. I really don't. To me, in that movie, it didn't work. It really didn't work. It's a good movie. It's a weird thing. What makes me not like it is they put Leatherface in the title. They put Leatherface on the cover with a chainsaw. The commercials make it seem like it's going to be a movie where Leatherface is in it throughout the entire film. And it's not. And it was marketed in a way where we thought it was going to be an actual origin story, where it became this Devil's Rejects, Cat and Mouse, The Hitcher type movie with, you know, just to me, it didn't fit the Chainsaw Massacre series. But I will say, technically speaking, that movie isn't a bad movie. I think it's still a good movie. I think if you can watch it and ignore the Chainsaw Massacre stuff, you know, you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it when I first watched it because I thought it was a well-made movie. That's what sucks, is that if you would have taken the Leatherface part out of it, do another idea where it's a killer. You could just make it another killer, not Leatherface. That's where it's like, hey, here's a script, we'll put Leatherface here and here, and we'll sell it. You know, it's just how it felt to me. It was barely a Chainsaw Massacre film. Here, I feel like it works. The AI works because we live in an age where, you know, even toys nowadays are, you know, computer-based, technology-based. So, to have a remake be done with the voodoo aspect, first of all, I think it works in the original movies to a degree. I've never been a really big fan of voodoo stuff. I've always found it to be just silly to me. And there are points in the original movies where it got a little silly. I must admit it to myself, you know. And I love that aspect. I think it's a cool part because it makes Chucky unique. It makes him different. It makes him, you know, separate from other horror characters. But if I'm being honest with you guys, the voodoo aspect works the greatest in the first 3 movies. After that, I'm not a fan of the voodoo stuff because it got stupid, it got silly, it got really cliche, and I thought it was just to me silly. Just silly idea of it. And Chucky taking the voodoo and splitting the soul up into $1 million and swapping souls with humans and having an amulet. It just got ridiculous to me. Whereas the AI idea, I think you can do so much with it. Now, the problem with that is Chucky no longer has to star in these movies because the AI idea can branch off so much. However, technically, you can make 1,000 Chuckies in this universe, which to me, I like more. I think it makes more sense, and I think it's a better idea than the Cult of Chucky idea. Because it's barely explained in that movie, it's barely explored, and it just was, to me, it was done poorly in that movie. And, you know, I just thought this idea worked better, and I guess some more reasons why I love this movie so much. I think it's filmed very well. I think it's a well-made movie as far as the camera work goes. It's just got a great atmosphere to it, some good-looking scenes. It's got blood and gore, which I was really hoping for because, you know, it's a Chucky movie. I was hoping it wasn't going to be PG-13, but it's rated R. It's gory, it's bloody. I like the kills. They're brutal. There's this one guy that I swear to God looked like Jack Black. And I thought it was Jack Black. I'm like, Jack Black's in a horror film? Cool. Which he was before. He was in I think he was in the second. I want to say he was in the second. I know he did last summer film. I want to say that. I think he was. But I know he was in that movie. But I thought that was Jack Black, but it wasn't him. And I was like, wow, it's not him. But that death scene, a lot of the gore looked good. To me, Chucky's design didn't look that bad. There are certain scenes where the CGI is a little weird looking and his face looks a little weird. But overall, I think... Sorry, I'm... nose is leaking so much. But overall, I think the design is very cool looking. You know, the eyes glowing red. How the eyes will kind of scan the room. I love that stuff. I like the... just how it can go from a very... and this has never been done before Chucky movies before. I like this too, where it's us very... you feel bad for this doll because it wants to be friends with Andy, but it's messed up. It's glitched. The AI is messed up, and it you know, starts harming people, killing people. So in a way, you kind of feel bad for this Chucky. It's more of a sympathetic Chucky, which was definitely very different. I also love the story. I love where this movie took the Chucky idea as far as the story. I love how it's, you know, they're building this friendship up between Andy and Chucky. He's teaching them certain things to say, and they're hanging out, and they're actually watching Chainsaw Massacre Part 2, which is awesome. When I seen that, I was like, that's badass. They're watching Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. Shout out to that movie. But I love how they're friends, and in a way, he doesn't want to hurt Andy. He wants to hurt the people that are kind of picking on Andy, or, in Andy's way. And it's a lot more in the line of the original script, where the original script was about that. It was about the doll. There was an idea that it was the doll that it bleeds, and there's like a blood pact, I think, and the doll goes after people who are messing with Andy. And I know in the original movie script it was like, is it a doll? Is it Andy? You don't know. Here it's the AI doll. And I just thought it was a really well done story with a lot of layers to it, and the characters I thought really well done. The acting I think is also pretty well done. Everybody in this movie does a pretty good job. I will say there are moments with the mom character. I don't know if it was just her delivery or her acting. I'm not saying she was a bad actress. It was just sometimes the character felt off. Felt off. Felt weird. Felt like she wasn't really, like, I don't know if she just didn't care to be a mom or she didn't care about Andy, but she seemed like kind of a mom that really didn't care too much, I guess you could say. I don't know, just very weirdly written character that I thought her dialogue was just like, what? Some of the stuff that she would say was just like totally surprising and totally out of left field, But as I said, man, this movie I think has a lot going for it. I also think the ending was a cool idea. However, it could have been done better. I will admit that. The ending had so much potential to it. You had Chucky, the AI possessing all these different things, and it could have been a bloodbath of gore. Ended up not being that. Also, the way they kill Chucky in this movie I thought was kind of weak. I can't really remember how they killed him. I think, did they pull a chip out? I can't remember how they killed Chucky. It was very forgettable and lame. I can't even remember it. And I didn't see the movie that long ago. It was just, I can't even remember. It was very forgettable. Very forgettable. Forgettable enough I actually did forget it, I can't even remember it. But I love the idea of the AI possessing this car and Chucky controlling it. I love Mark Hamill playing the voice of Chucky. I think he brings a fantastic performance as the voice of Chucky, and it's very unique. He's not ripping off Brad Dourif. He's not, doing the rip-off of the laugh. He's not ripping off the one-liners. He's doing his own unique thing. I think he does an amazing job in this movie playing Chucky's voice, and when I heard Mark Hamill was playing his voice, I was ecstatic. I was so excited to hear him play Chucky because just such a great voice actor and actor Mark Hamill is. I was very interested to hear what he would bring to the table. I think he knocks it out of the park. So that was also very well done. The music I thought was very cool. A lot of the theme song, the score throughout the film, the ending theme from the Buddy song, "You are my buddy until the end, more than a buddy, you're my best friend." Okay, I'm gonna stop that cringy karaoke now, but I liked that. That was so cool, and I love the way that Andy kind of rises up against Chucky and fights him off, and he realizes this is his best friend. I love that moment where Andy about to get killed by Chucky, and he sings the Buddy song, and Chucky kind of freezes up, and then Andy kills him. Very, very great scene. A lot of good moments. The dinner scene. For you guys, that scene that you know what I mean, the dinner scene. Where Andy finds this doll, like he gets it as a present. He's like, "What is this? You got me a toy. I'm like 10 years old or whatever." Or he's 13 years old. I'm like 13. Why'd you give me this? It's realistic. It'd be like, if you totally copied and pasted the original movie, it would not work nowadays. That's where I would kind of say I'm just really glad they went this route, because if you went the route of the original movie, it would not work nowadays. This to me fits nowadays. This is a good nowadays version of Chucky, and I really enjoyed the way that it was done. I think it's a very cool idea. I want to see more of this evil AI idea done, because it is a creepy idea. It is a scary idea. To me, more scary than the voodoo stuff. The voodoo stuff never really scared me. What scared me about, Nightmare on Elm Street was like the dream and stuff. I was never really scared by Chucky, though, so I'll be honest. I was never really scared by him. But the voodoo stuff never really scared me. This kind of creeped me out, because thinking about how much we rely on technology and phones and computers, and there's AI everywhere. There's robots, technology everywhere. So if this happened, just think about how much damage it could cause, how much mayhem it could cause. And, it's a very creative, different, smart, and creepy enough idea that I thought was done extremely well. I love the fact that it's not all CGI. Like, the doll isn't all CGI. I like how it's practical still. I like the puppetry. And yeah, it is wonky, but I feel like it was meant to be like that, to give it more of a realistic look. Just a movie that I think, to me personally, has the perfect... This to me is an example of how I wish more remakes were done. I want more remakes like this, where we're creating new ideas, new universes, new worlds. You want to remake Friday the 13th? Cool. I love that remake, because it's different. It's not the first movie copied and paste. It's the first 4 movies put into one movie. This is what you get. And you got Derek Mears. You got some hot women in that movie, some beautiful women. You've got good music, some suspenseful scenes. To me, Marcus Nispel does a great job filming that movie. Has a great look to it from Marcus Nispel. But I love that remake. But if you're going to remake Friday the 13th, do it like that. Do it different. Even Rob Zombie's movies, I can respect them for being different. I don't mind the first movie, but I wish more remakes would do this. Take an idea, give it something new, refreshen the series, and give it some sequels, and do it well. And if you do that, I'm satisfied. Like, it's still a slasher film. You still have Chucky. He's still killing people, and he is the main focus of the movie. So to me, it's all done very well. That's why I love this movie so much, because to me, it's one of the perfect... It is one of the perfect remakes out there. A lot of remakes just focus on copying and pasting. I love how this isn't like that. I love how it's being an honest new film, with really the only thing that's from the original movie is the name, and maybe the names and the characters, and maybe a little bit of the script was similar to the first movie. But it is essentially a brand new concept, and I'm very pleased about that. I think it was handled very well. It was done very well, and I really thought it was a well done movie. And I just kind of wanted to get on here and explain why I love the movie personally, because there's a lot of people who hate it and maybe were wondering why I love it. Like, why do you love this fucking movie so much? It's a piece of shit. Why do you love it? Why do I love it? Because it's refreshing. It's new. It's different. It's well made. It's got passion behind it. It's not some dry product on an assembly line made by a generic company somewhere, and PG-13, and having supernatural elements and Ouija boards and possession and all that generic crap. It's its own thing. It's unique, different, refreshing. I can keep saying that over and over again. It's just the right way to me. To me personally, it's the right way to go. When I first heard about Child's Play remake, I wasn't really looking forward to it. I was like, man, really? Child's Play? Remaking everything now. Literally everything. I was so pissed to hear about this remake. And I seen it, and I was like, I don't want to watch it. Checked it out, and I really, really enjoyed it. The It remake from 2017, Chapter 1. That remake, when I first seen it, when I first heard about it, I was just like, man, really? You're remaking that movie or readapting that novel again. Like, really? Really, you're doing this? Like, why? It's another remake, another trash remake. I'm not going to go see it. And really enough, I did go see it in the theater, and I have it on Blu-ray. So that just says how much I love that movie. Again, a remake where it's done differently, set in the 80s, different stuff to the characters, a good cast. Again, maybe that's another video I'll do one day discussing that movie and why I love that movie so much. But for this movie, I think it does so many things well. If there's any problems with the movie, it's probably the ending is the worst part to me. The ending is something that's really, it was built up, kind of an ending that went nowhere. And I mean, it went, obviously Chucky died, but like, it wasn't anything too special. Like, it wasn't this big, like Child's Play 2, that ending is such an event. That ending is such a cool idea, the maze of good guy boxes. I think it's so cool, that ending of Child's Play 2. Hell, the ending of Child's Play 1, where Chucky's on fire, he's burnt to a crisp, and he chases him out the house. Or Child's Play 3, where it's in this haunted house ride. I will admit, probably the most lawsuit, hungry haunted house ride in the world. One of the most dangerous things ever, but cool setting, new idea. I love that. I love the way that it happens. The death scene of Chucky, where he gets his face cut off, falls into the thing, gets cut into a million pieces. I love that finale. Here, I will admit the finale is really lackluster. You think Annie's mom's gonna die, and she doesn't die. No suspense really there, because the character to me wasn't really written that well. So it was like, wow, the one character who wasn't even written very well, like a character who's just, nowhere, nothing to me. The actress wasn't really that bad of an actress. She didn't do a bad job acting wise, but just the character, not much to the mom. And in the original movie, the mom character was a big part of that film, and the actress that played did such a good job. She was such a good mother, and just genuine. Felt very natural in that movie, and she was very caring, and she was the lead of the movie. But in this movie, the mom was just, not really there. Her dialogue was very just random, and just, I don't know. To me, not a very well written character, but that to me is the one flaw. Everything else in this movie is great. The pacing is great. I love the story. I love the way Chucky's done. I love his look, his design, how the eyes glow red. I love that. The AI idea. I can just, the kills, how they took the original script and kind of did their own thing with it. I love everything about this movie. It's great. It's really great. But the reason why I'm making this is hopefully we can get a discussion going in the comments. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this one in the comments below. Do you hate it? Do you not? Let me know. I want to hear discussions about it. I want to hear why you love it, or why you hate it, or why you think it's okay. Discussion video. It's all about discussion. But yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on that. Just something I wanted to do. Totally random. I'm very tired. That's why I'm stuttering and tripping over my words. But anyways, it's been 28 minutes. I'm so sorry about that. But this is a good little discussion video to do. It's a little discussion video. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. And thank you for tuning in to Horror Boy Discussion. I totally ruined that. Welcome. I am ruining everything. I'm so tired now. I just need to shut up and go to bed. So I'm going to do that. But anyways, I'm going to see you guys later. Peace out. Stay safe. Have a good night. And thanks for being here. And remember, the AI is evil. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. The Explorer 4 is out. Have a good night. Peace.